Angel Marie Thompson was only 27 years old, but her presence felt larger than life to those who knew her. She worked as a nurse in the county hospital, often staying long after her shift ended to comfort patients who had no family at their bedside. Colleagues admired her dedication, while neighbors described her as the type of person who would bring groceries to an elderly stranger or sit with a lost child until their parents arrived. Angel lived in a quiet neighborhood, in a modest home filled with photos of her friends, co-workers, and the animals she adored from the shelter where she volunteered. To many, she seemed untouchable by darkness, a bright soul who had chosen a path of service. That sense of safety was shattered on a rainy evening in late October. Angel finished her hospital shift around 10 at night and promised co-workers she would see them in the morning. But when her car didn't pull into her driveway and her lights never turned on, her absence was immediately noticed. The next day, concern turned to panic when her vehicle was found abandoned along a deserted stretch of highway. Inside were her purse, her hospital ID, and her phone, objects no one believed she would leave behind. Within hours, a search party formed, combing through woods and ditches along the roadside. The grim discovery came by mid-afternoon. Hidden beneath damp branches and leaves, Angel's lifeless body lay concealed in a shallow spot not far from where her car had been abandoned. The news sent shockwaves through the community. A town used to safety and routine was suddenly confronted with a brutal crime. Candlelight vigils appeared on street corners, and families locked their doors with unease. Everyone asked the same question: who could harm Angel, and why? The peaceful rhythm of their town had been forever broken. When detectives began piecing together the days following Angel's murder, they quickly realized something unusual was happening. Less than 48 hours after her body was discovered, transactions appeared on her bank account. Someone was using her debit card to withdraw cash at ATMs across town. At first, investigators considered the possibility of a random thief who had taken her belongings. But when her purse and phone had been found untouched in the car, the explanation didn't fit. Whoever was behind this wasn't just after money, they wanted something much deeper. Within a week, new credit card applications were submitted under Angel's name. Job sites showed fresh applications using her details, and a woman was even recorded checking into a motel using Angel's driver's license. Security cameras caught the imposter in fragments, entering stores, swiping cards, walking briskly out of buildings with her face turned away. In one clear frame, investigators were stunned to see the uncanny resemblance. The woman wasn't Angel, but she looked so much like her that a stranger could be convinced. Detectives followed the digital trail of purchases, new clothes, luxury cosmetics, and travel bookings. The spending was reckless, but it was also strangely methodical. Each move suggested that the person wanted to build a new version of themselves, fully under Angel's name. Even more disturbing, the impersonator began using Angel's social media accounts, posting short updates that mimicked her style of writing. Friends who saw these updates believed Angel was still alive, unaware of the grim truth. The case shifted from a local murder investigation to something far more unsettling. It was no longer about who killed Angel, but about who was trying to become her. The thought of someone stepping into her life so soon after her death left investigators unnerved and desperate for answers. Detectives knew they were chasing someone bold and deliberate. The imposter wasn't hiding in the shadows. She was moving city to city, living openly as if she truly were Angel. Hotel records placed her in 3 different towns within 2 weeks. Each time, she used Angel's identification to check in, and in one case even requested a room under the same address where Angel had lived. It was as though she wanted to erase the boundaries between her own identity and Angel's, leaving no separation between the two lives. Security footage provided chilling evidence. The woman's resemblance was striking. Same dark hair, similar build, and even clothing choices that mirrored Angel's known style. To the untrained eye, it was Angel herself. Detectives noted how carefully the imposter carried herself, almost rehearsed, as though she had studied Angel's movements for months. The investigation deepened when financial records revealed she had purchased nursing textbooks and even scheduled an appointment for a hospital job interview under Angel's name. The intent wasn't just theft, it was replacement. What disturbed investigators further was her digital behavior. She logged into Angel's email and replied to casual messages from friends. She even used Angel's account to send holiday greetings, keeping the illusion alive that Angel was still out there, busy and thriving. For family members mourning her death, the activity was haunting. Some began questioning whether the investigation was mistaken, until the coroner's report confirmed the truth no one wanted to face. Detectives pressed harder, tracing phone pings, surveillance clips, and witness reports. Each lead added to the eerie picture, a woman desperate not just for Angel's possessions, but for her entire existence. What baffled them most was the motivation. Why Angel? Why this particular life? Those questions pushed the investigation into darker territory, where personal history and hidden connections would soon come to light. As investigators dug deeper, they realized the answer to Angel's motive wasn't buried in her present, but in her past. They searched adoption records, hospital archives, and family history, uncovering a long-forgotten secret. Decades earlier, before Angel was born, her mother had given birth to another daughter during a difficult chapter of her life. That child, placed into foster care, had grown up with a fractured sense of belonging. The name on those records was Marissa Lane. Marissa's upbringing was vastly different from Angel's. While Angel was raised in stability, with a supportive family and opportunities to study nursing, Marissa moved from one foster home to another. Her childhood was marked by instability, neglect, and survival. Over the years, resentment festered as she learned more about the life she might have had. When she eventually discovered Angel through social media, her obsession grew. Angel had everything Marissa felt had been stolen from her: family, career, and admiration. Investigators pieced together a chilling pattern. 4 months before Angel's death, Marissa had been shadowing her online, studying her posts, her friends, her routines. She imitated Angel's tone, her favorite phrases, even the small details of her daily life. This was not a random crime. It was a carefully crafted plan fueled by envy and desperation. Witnesses recalled seeing a woman resembling Angel near her workplace weeks before the murder, though no one thought to question it at the time. The discovery reframed the entire case. The woman in the surveillance footage wasn't a stranger. She was Angel's half-sister, carrying years of bitterness and longing. The motive became tragically clear. Marissa didn't just want Angel gone. She wanted to step into the life she believed was rightfully hers, erasing the sister she never truly knew. Marissa's attempt to live as Angel collapsed when she pushed her plan too far. Investigators tracked her movements to an airport where she tried to board a flight using Angel's documents. Security flagged inconsistencies in her identification, and when questioned, she stumbled over simple details about Angel's life. Authorities were waiting when she attempted to walk away. In her possession were Angel's birth certificate, driver's license, nursing credentials, and even a volunteer badge from the shelter Angel had loved so much. It was as though she carried a suitcase of her sister's entire life. During interrogation, the pieces fell into place. Forensic evidence tied Marissa to the wooded area where Angel's body had been found. Phone records revealed she had lured Angel out on the night of the murder, pretending it was an emergency. Once Angel was gone, Marissa wasted no time in activating the second phase of her plan, stepping into her identity. She opened accounts, wore her clothes, and even practiced her handwriting to mimic signatures. Investigators described it as one of the most disturbing cases of obsession they had ever seen. At trial, prosecutors painted Marissa as a woman consumed by jealousy and rage, determined to destroy the sister she had never been able to accept. Witnesses spoke about Angel's kindness in the stark contrast with the cold, calculated actions of her half-sister. The jury took little time to convict her of first-degree murder, identity theft, and fraud. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For the community, the case left scars that would never fully heal. Angel's death was not just a murder, but an erasure attempt, an effort to steal her very existence. In the end, the truth prevailed, but the haunting reality of a life stolen in every sense lingered like a shadow over the town.